How about every summer we meet for a trip?
Vacation has officially begun on Netflix.
To best enjoy your trip, we suggest the following itinerary.
I say we just wing it.
Wing it.
See where the wind takes us.
From best-selling author Emily Henry
Are you guys like a thing?
Oh, no,
we're
we're
just
just friends. Platonic travel companions.
comes your next favorite rom-com.
Who wants to go skinny dipping? Alex says.
Vacation, Alex!
I love it when you get weird.
People We Meet on Vacation, now playing on Netflix. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13.
Welcome back to Connect with Jonathan Mark. I am doing a different type of episode this week, and I'll explain to you why. So we have a whole new booking process to make sure law enforcement involved, the families involved, everything is kind of squeaky clean. And I've always tried to be extremely honest with everyone that this was a learning curve, like putting law enforcement with cases on here, how things evolve, how we have to always remove stuff because of it's an ongoing case, or if we crack something, we have to take that part out. So what we're doing now, which we've already started, we have a bunch of cases from all over the United States and all over the world. And we're just trying to do things properly. The last thing that I really want to do is upset any family member, any law enforcement, anyone involved. So I figured today would be kind of a fun episode or just a cool episode because I've never really fully explained to you guys how I get involved in cases, my process, everything that goes in between being called on to after. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm actually, like I said, very excited because I haven't really gone into detail about this, obviously on other shows or even on here a little bit. I've explained it, but I am very excited just to fully 100% just kind of go through all the details. Basically, what happens is I get called on by law enforcement or by the family. It's one of the two. And the reason why that this is important, because I want to tell you the difference between the two, is there's two different processes that kind of go along with it. So typically when law enforcement reaches out to me, they don't tell me what the case is, who's going to be involved, or who I'm even speaking to. And I'll give you an example of one after I'm done kind of like explaining all this stuff, just so you guys can kind of get a feel. So I'll get called on, let's say by law enforcement, right? And like I said, they don't really tell me anything. They tell me a time to show up. And by showing up, it's typically on Zoom. And the reason why that it's on Zoom is I can't always travel to these different states. And a lot of the towns that I've been starting to work with, aside from the big like metropolitan areas, are hours away. So if I fly in to, let's just say, Texas, Houston, and I have to drive 3-4 hours somewhere, it's not as easy. And a lot of the times they want this stuff right like then and there. I've also explained to them with my process is that I prefer not to know anything about the case. And the reason being is I need it to be as authentic as really anything. Like I don't really want to know knowledge about the case, who I'm going to be trying to connect to, who I'm trying to help. Is it unsolved? Is it a missing person? I want all that to kind of unfold within the reading. And I try to tell law enforcement this, but before I even crack anything or go into the types of, unsolved reading, because the truth is when I do a client reading, which I do like every single day, it's a different type of reading than it is unsolved. So I try to combine the both. So I always want to make the families feel as comfortable as possible with me. The beginning of the reading is really to connect them to the person, and it's not so much about the case. Then it goes into the case. So this is where the process with law enforcement comes in, is they give me a short like window of time. I'll get like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, let's say. And they want me to essentially just rifle off information. And as I'm doing that, they're recording everything. So they're kind of like recording the reading. So when they go back, they're able to see if it matches any of the stuff that's not public and cross-examine, see any new leads, things like that. And most of the time, it's not a one and done process. And that's because my goal when I do these cases, Like in a perfect world, yes, I would love to solve them one and done. But that's not how it works. Typically, I do 2, 3, but they're all different, like 2 to 3 different readings, but they're all different people. It could be the family member, the lead detective, someone that's heavily involved in the case or knows about the case. Those are typically the best types of readings because they know so much that, they can validate the really specific things. Now, it's a learning process, I think, for myself and them. And I think we've kind of come up with like this, I guess you can call it routine or process of it. And now it's becoming way more seamless. Like when I first started a while ago, like a long time ago, it wasn't like a perfect, I guess you can say process, but now we kind of like with paperwork, when they report it, everything, like now everything is squared away and we know how to report this. Now going towards the family side of things, now this is very different. So a lot of the times families will reach out. I mean, I'm so thankful that families trust me, and same with law enforcement, but I am so thankful that they are just willing to use my ability or just giving me a shot. Like it means the world to me. So I want to give them everything I got. However, I've learned from doing it if law enforcement's not involved with the family or at least an established PI, things can get hairy. Now, what I mean by that is I get it. People's emotions are just constantly, they're running wild. I mean, you want answers, you want closure. I 110%, more than 100%, like I just said, understand that. But what people don't seem to realize, or at least if you're not involved in this stuff, is the family sometimes they go rogue. And what I mean by going rogue is they want answers. So if I give them a lead or someone gives them a lead and it matches things, like I said, that's not public and they're like, oh my God, when they go rogue, they kind of just go immediately to the source, which is dangerous because you don't know how the source or the person is going to react. Now, a lot of the times when I do this stuff, I wish I can just see, like I said, who 100% did it. And sometimes I can. Most of the times they'll underline the person's name and say, revisit this person. And that's like enough for the family, like to go get in their car and just, go rogue. So now, and I've been doing this for a while now. So like now when I do this stuff with families that reach out separately without like the detective, like CC'd on it or an established PI CC'd on the email, I make sure that they're involved. Before I do anything, I make sure because it's scary for myself. It's scary for the families. And most importantly, I just don't need anyone getting hurt. Like I'm trying to provide help with clues and turning corners, keeping cases open, but I don't need someone to go and do something that they're going to regret acting on emotion because that would break my heart if all they're searching for is answers and they act on emotion and the emotion is just, very fiery.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? No. A strong deodorant? Yes. A six-pack of abs? Nope. Six-pack of beer? Yes. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol 21 plus and in select cities. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
I'm going to give you an example of both. So I want to give you an example of when I worked with a sheriff's department outside, I want to say, of Cleveland, Ohio. So they flew me out and I didn't know where I was going. Basically, all I knew was I was going to Cleveland, Ohio. And then when they picked me up, they didn't really want to share where I was going. Granted, the area that I guess I was going to, now that I know, is very high in crime, but also very high in unsolved cases. So even if I knew where I was going, like the area, I'm sure there's hundreds and hundreds of cases. But my process is that I don't want to know. So they bring me to a hotel and, I grab dinner and they're like, okay, tomorrow at, let's just say like 11 a.m. That's not the exact time, but let's just use that as an example. They're like, we may go. And I'm like, what do you mean we may? He goes, I want to give you like a gap time just so like you're ready by 9:30, but 11 is like the go time. I'm like, okay. So I was ready by 9:30, literally 9:45, I get a knock on the door. And the reason being, like I said, I kind of set the parameters up. So I'm like, I don't want to know. Like, I don't want anything to, I don't want to know anything. So they thought throwing me off, which is fine, would be the best course of action. So not only did they do that, they blindfolded me. They drove me around. They said, take the blindfold off. We were in an industrial park. And I go, we're doing the reading here. And they said, nope, get back in the car. And again, they just wanted, they didn't want me to know like where I was going, the address. So I pull up and it's these trailer homes, but they're very spaced away. Like they're like acres away from like one another. I go in and I swear to you, they cleared out the house. It was very eerie. It was kind of like there were supposed to be pictures, nothing. Like everything was emptied aside from a chair and a couch. So I do the reading and it goes well because the case is still ongoing. They made movements on it, but it's still not officially solved. Otherwise, I would tell you guys what the case is. I think everyone was collectively shocked. Like they were filming it for a project. They were like the sheriff's department was seeing if this could be like a useful like tool for them. So they brought me to another location and I had to walk over and I'm like, this is where the body was. And I'm telling you, it was a random like location. And they're like, yes, this is exactly where we found the body. So they recorded everything and they told me like the stuff of who I told them to revisit and to talk to. They were able to get more information because the body was just found there. And that's like kind of how like the process with law enforcement works, where they take what I say, they try to throw me off, and they try to match it to things that are not public. And when they do, then they know that they can go speak to this person that I kept saying. Now, going to the family side of things where they kind of act on emotion, I'm not going to give the case, and I don't want to say the family because out of respect for them, and I'm probably not going to give you a lot of like specific details like this one. It was a family, they reached out and I asked them about law enforcement and they said there was a case detective like, involved in it. So they gave me a name. Like that's also why I continued. But they gave me a name and I was like, okay. And this is like, again, before like I really had like these checks and balances like kind of put into place. This was like a long, long time ago. So this case was someone's daughter. Unfortunately, her life was taken and they didn't know who did it. It was an unsolved case. And I told them who to talk to again, not who did it, who to revisit again. I will never say that to a family because even back then I was aware. What did they do? They went up to this person and they were like, this medium said this, like you're the one, blah, 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 blah. And then it caused a little bit of like a situation for my safety because was this person involved? To my knowledge, up until today, he was there. He saw things, but he just is not speaking. And that's a lot of things with cases. Sometimes people will be there or they'll see something, but they're too afraid to talk. So then he was essentially like not coming after me. That's not the right term, but he was not happy with me. So now, and again, this was like a long, long time ago. Now I will not do that because I need to protect my safety and the family's safety. So there's so many different processes that come on. And as, you know, and I'm so thankful that like my name is reaching so many different people now. And it is amazing because these cases now are not just United States. I'm working all over the world. And like their processes are extremely different than like a process here. I can tell you, like working with Australian police, they've been pretty fantastic. And I've worked with like Canada, Ireland. I'm going to be working with someone from Sweden. And yes, there's a language barrier for some of them. And that's why they'll have like a translator there for everything. So I don't know. I'm just so thankful that so many people are just trusting in me to do this. Like I can't even begin to express just my gratitude. And I will continue to help. And just so everyone knows, I see all the emails. I'm trying my absolute best to get to every case, but I want to be able to give my attention to you guys when I work on cases. So please continue to send them. Please continue to fight for your family because I sure as heck will. I'm not gonna just not take on like your case and not fight for justice for you guys. But there is a proper process with everything. So I just want to say thank you guys for listening. And there'll be, you know, more families. It's just like I said, the process that I'm trying to do now, everyone, there has to be like these checks and balances. And we're getting through a bunch of cases that have to have these checks and balances with before I bring them on here. And I'm excited to do so. I'm excited to bring on, you know, celebrities or friends of mine that are in the public eye to talk about cases and go over cases. I'm excited to help families out. And I'm also so excited to bring you guys on here to do readings. I'm like so excited for that, to meet you guys and to give away some readings and stuff. I just did one. I just gave away a reading to someone who listens to the podcast, and it was awesome. It was just such a cool experience to meet people. Thank you so much. Please do not forget to rate and review the show 5 stars. It helps the show out. And now that I'm back for season 3, I want to put it back in the top 100 like we used to have it. You know, thankfully, we stayed in the top side of spirituality, which is amazing. And please, please, please follow my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok over at Jonathan Mark Medium. It helps me out a lot as well, too. And also, if you have any cases that you want me to speak about or go over, but if you're affected by and want my help, please send an email to connectjonathanmark@gmail.com. All right, guys, I'll see you next week.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. You can't solve every case for your kids, but with Greenlight, they'll have the instincts and money skills to stay out of trouble. With a Greenlight debit card and money app, parents can monitor spending and teach financial responsibility. Educate your kids as they grow, from earning allowance and tracking chores to learning how to save and invest. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify.